Welcome to Destination Texas. While summer vacation season may be coming to an end, the promise of cooler weather has a lot of Texans looking to travel.
One way to escape the triple-digit Texas heat is to go underground. In the next half hour, we'll look at a few places around the state for family-friendly getaways. Inner Space Cavern in Georgetown is a perfect spot to cool off and explore the wonders of nature that lie under the Texas Hill Country, all while social distancing.
Photojournalist Ben Freeberg gives us a glimpse inside.
Hello everybody and welcome to Inner Space Cavern. I will be your tour guide today. Inner Space Cavern, you can come and take multiple different tours of a natural cavern that has been carved out by water over millions of years. This is called the Scalloped Ceiling. Here is the flowing stone of time. We do estimate that it's up to about 400,000 years old. The types of things that you see in pictures in National Geographic. There's part of a tusk back up here. All of these animals on the wall, we found bones from them down here in the cavern. I think that this is the prettiest looking room on the tour. The best part are the big rim pools that we have in here with this nice crystal clear water. My personal favorite thing in the entire cavern, the cave volcano. Active volcano, y'all be careful. This big flat one right here is called cave drapery. Those are called soda straws. And they're called that because they're completely hollow in the center. You get a tour guide that tells you everything that you need to know. Another name that some people like to call them is a pillar. I don't like to call them that because we are in Texas, obviously. And here in Texas, pillars are what we lay our heads on at night. Has lots of really good dad jokes to go along with it. Sometimes they call it the Aggie sundial. The castle balcony, it's a great place to bring the family as well. This big vanilla ice cream cone, it looks pretty tasty, kind of melty there, but that's okay, I would still eat it. It's just awesome to be able to come down here and see what nature has created on its own. It's very rewarding when people come in here and I can see on their faces that they're really impressed. I get to share that with them. You always see something new and there's always just a little bit of that, oh wow, look at that, every time you come in.
Very cool. Inner Space Cavern is open daily. Visitors will be required to wear a mask both in the gift shop and in the cavern. Tour groups will be smaller in size as well, which will further help social distancing. You can find more information at the Inner Space Cavern website. We have a link for you with this story in the Destination Texas section of our website.
People from around the world travel to Hueco Tanks State Park to try out its spots for rock climbing. Others come to admire artifacts and gaze at the stars. Susie Castillo gives us a closer look at a place that's been drawing visitors for thousands of years.
Hiking, enjoying nature, and learning about the past.
They don't really expect to see such diverse life and diverse history kind of out in the middle of the desert.
But it's climbing that's the most sought-after attraction at Hueco Tanks State Park.
It's one of the best rock climbing areas on the planet.
Typhus has been climbing around the world for decades. It's the geology of the boulders and cliffs at Hueco Tanks that captured his ambition.
So people come with high expectations, and usually when they come here, what they experience is even beyond those expectations.
But don't be intimidated. There's a rock for just about everyone.
There are things that are at every level, from beginner to the absolute best in the world.
After talking with the experts, I decided to give climbing a try. Of course I can. And after doing some climbing, you can find some pictographs underneath the rock.
These were drawn by the first settlers.
The Jornada Mogollon, they were here from about the year 400 to about 1400.
They carved out holes to grind corn and beans. Pottery pieces are still scattered in caves. Before that group, people had been passing through for more than 10,000 years. It's a place in the middle of the desert where water gathers within the boulders.
The geology creates these holes in the rock, which are called huecos, just Spanish word for hollow, which is why it's called Hueco Tanks.
Now it's camping and exploring that families who pass through can enjoy.
It's so unique, it's so different, and it's so beautiful and magical out here that I think everybody walks away with a really magical experience.
Success!
In Hueco Tanks, I'm Susie Castillo for Destination Texas.
Now, Hueco Tanks is open every day, but the park often reaches capacity. Texas Parks and Wildlife recommends making a reservation before you visit. You can find information on how to do so with this story in the Destination Texas section of our website.
This summer, we've been highlighting destinations in Texas for interesting getaway trips. Well, one goal a lot of folks have for a getaway is to find spots for fun pictures. The city of San Angelo aims to give you plenty of picturesque options. Sonora Smith shows us why it's a great place for pop art and photo ops.
San Angelo is quickly becoming an artist and photographer's paradise. Over the last several years, initiatives have added hundreds of art installations to public places within the city. Here are 5 great places full of photo ops that you can visit for free. The newest addition to the San Angelo art scene is the Pop Art Museum. The outdoor venue is full of exhibits from local artists. The objects of their focus range from contemporary to classic. It was actually an addition to an already popular location called Paintbrush Alley. Both exhibits were spearheaded by a group called Art in Uncommon Places. If you follow them on social media, you'll see what else they're up to and what new exhibits are coming soon. When it comes to photo ops, you can't help but get some close-ups on the Concho River. You'll see some art here too. The Riverwalk is home to several sculptures and mosaic pieces. It's also home to the Bosque, an area where you can have a picnic and take in the scenery. Something else San Angelo is known for is the Sheep Gallery. There are around 100 of these statues all over the city and beyond. A fun game to play is seeing how many you can take your picture with. The final stop on our tour is the International Water Lily Garden. This garden has hosted visitors from all over the world. And I'm sure you can see why. This exhibit has been deemed as one of the most premier and prestigious in existence. The best viewing times are in the morning hours before noon. From San Angelo and for Destination Texas, I'm Sonora Scott.
You might wonder why San Angelo chose to have statues of sheep placed around the city. Well, it's a nod to the city's ranching history. San Angelo was once known as the wool capital of the world. Area ranchers still produce hundreds of thousands of pounds of wool each year.
The sound of a steam whistle and wheels on a track. Coming up, see how a scenic tour in East Texas is taking passengers on a trip back through time.
And the smallest towns on the map can be home to some of the most beautiful spots in Texas. How visitors to one rural community can find faith-based masterpieces of art and architecture.
Welcome back to Destination Texas. The Texas Hill Country has become a popular place for fans of wine tours even during the pandemic. Maggie Glenn went to tour a couple of wineries offering different services in a socially distant way.
We normally have a whole bunch of people in here tasting wine and enjoying all that we have to offer. Right now it is pretty empty since we are not allowed to be open.
Spicewood Vineyards is only able to sell wine to go right now, but owner Ron Yates says they're still making the most of their business.
We crush all the grapes and press it all into juice and ferment all the stuff, and then this is the barrel room where after the fruit's been turned into wine, it comes in here to age until it's ready to be bottled.
While they usually have live music events, they're getting creative now with a Facebook Live tasting.
Did a little wine tasting pack and sent it all over the state to everybody, and just trying to find ways to stay connected with our customers.
Yates says the Hill Country has become a wine destination over the last decade, and it's continuing to grow.
And I believe there's 60 plus wineries here in the Hill Country now, and you can go from winery to winery to winery and taste 12 different grape varietals.
If you drive north of Spicewood Vineyards, you'll find Flat Creek Estate.
We've been fortunate that we have our restaurant here on site, so we've always been able to operate under restaurant guidelines.
You'll need a reservation inside, but outside on the pavilion, anyone is welcome.
You just come out, see our hostess at the bar. She'll get you a bottle of wine, get your food order, and just pick a table and enjoy.
And in the back of the estate, there's another socially distant activity.
Disc golf has become super popular for us.
You can get a bottle of wine to go while walking the course. Maggie Glenn for Destination Texas.
You can find information on our website about both of those wineries in the Hill Country. Just check out this story in the Destination Texas section.
Large metal arrows mark a special trail in the Texas Panhandle. We'll show you history you'll find if you follow the path.
And the story of wind power in Texas. Coming up, we'll take you inside a unique museum dedicated to windmills.
And vintage locomotives and train cars from another era. How a trip to East Texas is giving fans of classic rail a chance to travel back in time. Welcome back to Destination Texas. Our next stop takes us to Lubbock, home to the American Windmill Museum. Founded in 1993, it now has the world's largest collection of restored windmills. Grace Morris gives us a look into what makes this museum so special.
A lot of people go, a windmill museum? But then they walk through the doors and they start seeing everything that's here and they're like, wow, I had no idea. 175, close to 200 windmills on display between the indoor and the outdoor displays.
The American Windmill Museum, where wind means something different. A place people from all over come to visit, like Ben Birch and his grandma, who are from Oklahoma.
Every time we come to Lubbock, he wants to go to the Windmill Museum. And he's probably been here 5 or 6 times, really.
The museum sits on 28 acres of land with windmills from pioneer times to modern times, all because Billy Wolf, a former teacher at Texas Tech, loved windmills.
And it became her passion to try to educate the youth of today, on what the importance of windmills was during the pioneer times.
A love that has been passed on.
I like all the windmills. I just like to see the windmills. They're cool. I like the big giant one out back.
This museum now houses the largest public collection of restored windmills in the world.
We're a big enough facility that it seldom ever felt like we were crowded. We are big enough that people can come out and they can social distance and still enjoy the museum.
And while the museum is well known in Lubbock, these windmills draw more than just folks from around Texas.
I enjoy seeing the people that come through because we get people here from all over the world.
For Destination Texas, I'm Grace Morris.
And there's no shortage of wind out there in West Texas. The Windmill Museum is open Tuesday through Saturday. The museum also features a 6,600 square foot model train layout that highlights the connection between the railroads and windmills.
A scenic tour in East Texas is taking passengers on a trip back in time. The Texas State Railroad is home to vintage locomotives and train cars from another era. Katie Carver takes us on board for a journey that highlights history and the state's special scenery.
Founded in the 1970s, the Texas State Railroad has become an iconic piece of history. The 4-hour train ride takes riders from Palestine to Rusk on a narrated tour of the beautiful backwoods of East Texas, with a stop for a picturesque picnic lunch on Lake Cherokee.
It's one of the most unique experiences you can get while in Texas. And if you want a tourist train, this is the place to come.
With various seating options, there is a train car for everyone, no matter your budget, all featuring optimum views of the surroundings.
The best thing about it is that it's not too far from Dallas or Houston or Shreveport, and we're out here. It's quiet out here in the country, but it's a great trip, and the scenery's fun. The people on the train, all the employees, the goal is to cater to the customers the best we can.
With a full bar for adults and concessions of salty popcorn and sweets for the kids, the service on board is first class. They are currently operating at half capacity and requiring that all riders wear a mask.
Though we have more restrictions right now with what's going on, the goal is that this is a fun experience during the day to come out here, ride the train, relax. You don't have to do anything, you don't have to drive. You just sit on there and enjoy the scenery going by.
A relaxing day on the rails. For Destination Texas, I'm Katie Carver.
Well, tickets for the train tour start at $25 for an adult and $20 for kids. They do have higher price tickets for seats in first class and luxury cars. You can find links to information in the Destination Texas section of our website. If you decide to head out on a weekend destination spot, it is important to know the price of gas right now. In the state of Texas, the average is just $1.91. Heading west, prices can jump up to $2.25. Down in the Rio Grande Valley, prices get down to $1.86 per gallon.
Immigrants to Texas set out to recreate the ornate churches from their homelands. The results, striking and beautiful. We'll take you inside the painted churches of Texas.
But first, a trail honors the legacy of the Comanche tribe and their chief, how distinctive works of art are helping Texans find these historic sites.
Welcome back to Destination Texas, our look at road trip getaways around the state. Our next stop takes us to the Panhandle. It's home to a trail that honors the Comanche tribe and their last chief, Quanah Parker. The trail is marked by dozens of large, distinctive metal arrows. Jason Britch takes us on a journey to places where Parker and his tribe left their mark.
Traveling through the sprawling high plains, you may notice a 22-foot high arrow sticking out of the ground.
This is a unique story of a man who adapted to do two different worlds in two different eras.
That story belongs to legendary Comanche Quanah Parker. Since 2011, the 100-year anniversary of Parker's death, the Texas Plains Trail region, with the guidance and blessing of Parker's family, started setting up 22-foot high arrows all across the Texas Panhandle.
Every county that wanted an arrow had to provide us with some basic information about their Comanche history. And that way we would ensure that that arrow had an authentic reason to be there.
One of the more historical markers on the trail lies in Hutchinson County, where Parker was heavily active.
He was in the Battle of 1874 against the Buffalo Hunters at Adobe Walls. We've had people come from as far away as Japan, Australia, and England to go to Adobe Walls. Love to see more people come.
And that's just one of the over 70 arrows that can be found on the trail. And whether it be found in the middle of town or off the beaten path, it's a unique trail for a unique individual and his tribe.
We can all celebrate that history and honor a people that has kind of gotten a little lost in history. By putting up those arrows, it reminds people that this area, before we all got here, was once the stronghold of the Comanche, the lords of the South Plains.
On the Quanah Parker Trail, I'm Jason Britch for Destination Texas.
Panhandle artisan Charles Smith created all of the arrows on the trail, and he did it for free. Before Smith died, Quanah Parker's descendants adopted him into their family and gave him an honorary Comanche name that translated to arrow maker.
Very cool. Well, immigrants inspired by faith built masterpieces of art and architecture in small Texas towns. Coming up, we'll take you inside of the historic painted churches. That's next on Destination Texas. Some of the most beautiful spots in Texas are tucked away seemingly in the middle of nowhere.
Our final stop in our Destination Texas special takes us to Fayette County, home of the painted churches. These Catholic churches near Schulenburg are the faith-based masterpieces of German, Austrian, and Czech immigrants.
Photojournalist Ben Freeberg took a tour of the church known as the Queen of the Painted Churches to see what these famed places of worship are all about.
We are just entering the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary Church in Schulenburg, Texas. This church was built in 1910. It is simply gorgeous. It's in pristine condition. The windows came from Munich, Germany. They have all different designs in them, crosses, hearts. The people that came here were looking for a new life. They came from Austria, from Germany. Now the ceiling, there is tongue and groove wood beneath it, and all of the designs that they painted have 24-karat gold in them. Now, the columns in this church appear to be marble, but they're not. They're wood. They were painted with turkey feathers. We see an ambo. The ambo is where the priests would speak from, and they have their canopies above that throw their voice, because all of that happened before we had electricity and speakers. We have a beautiful organ that is upstairs, and it is a 1909 organ, and the music is beautiful. I love to stand by the doorway and hear them gasp. It brings me so much peace to bring people here that can see how wonderful it is to live in God's country.
Well, now there are 4 churches to tour in all, each in their own tiny community, and these are all still active churches, so no tours are given on Sundays. You can find tour information on the Schulenburg Chamber of Commerce website. We have a link online now. Just look for this story in the Destination Texas section of our website.
That does it for Destination Texas. We hope you enjoyed our look at getaway spots across our state.
And if you want more information on any of the spots we showed you today, we have all of that for you online. Good night and stay safe.